The film begins with a couple, Greg and Heather, who are tourists. They have come to Australia with their group. Because they sleep too long, the group leaves them behind. Taking advantage of this, they go to the seashore to try the shark cage experience. In this activity, people are placed inside a cage and lowered into the water to see sharks up close. The man they meet is named Tucker, and he calls this activity the Tucker experience. At first, Tucker is not present, so his partner tells them Tucker wants some rest and will not take them. Just then, Tucker himself arrives, full of energy. He insists on taking them and starts the trip by boat. On the way, he tells them that he once survived a shark attack during childhood. He still has scars on his body and shows them. From that day, he says, he feels a strange bond with sharks. Heather comments that surviving such an attack and then choosing to work among sharks must be very difficult. She adds that in his place, most people would never go near the sea again. Tucker replies that the sharks are not at fault. Soon, he throws blood into the water and lowers them into the cage. Sharks surround them, and they enjoy the thrilling sight of the creatures so close. They also feel relieved, realizing that as long as humans stay calm and avoid panic, sharks do not become aggressive. The couple happily return from the water and thank Tucker. Just when they prepare to leave, Tucker shows his true face. He suddenly stabs Greg in the neck and throws him back into the sea. Heather screams for help, but no one is there to hear in the middle of the ocean. Tucker then looks at her with a devilish smile. The scene shifts to an American girl named Zephyr. She enjoys surfing in the ocean waves. After surfing, she stops at a nearby gas station where she meets a boy, Moses, who works as an agent. His car fails to start, so he needs help. Zephyr owns a big camper van where she lives, but she prefers staying away from people and refuses to help at first. Moses insists again and again, so finally she agrees and gives him a lift. During the ride, they talk a lot and start liking each other. Both love surfing, and soon they become friends. They want to spend more time together, so they stay near his house in the van and enjoy their moments. At one point, Moses throws away the fin that attaches to the surfboard. He now feels serious about their relationship. Tells Zephyr that they should stay together, believing they met for a reason. But Zephyr's nature is different. She never likes to stay in one place. She does not even enter his house. While he goes inside to cook food, she drives away in her van, breaking his heart. Even after she leaves, he keeps remembering her. Zephyr heads straight to the beach for surfing. She wants to fix the fin on her board, but the fin was already thrown away, so she looks at the nearby truck for help. Truck belongs to Tucker, who soon arrives from behind. He gives her the fin, but during the conversation, he tries to extract personal details, whether she is alone or with someone. Such questions help him plan his next move, just as he once tricked Heather and Greg into revealing that their group had left them. But Zephyr does not give clear answers. Annoyed, Tucker drives away. Right then, Zephyr receives a message from Moses. He writes that they should meet. Zephyr wants to call him, but hides her feelings and refuses. This turns out to be her biggest mistake, because soon after, Tucker attacks her from behind, knocks her unconscious, and takes her away. He locks her inside his vehicle, and after a long journey, he transfers her into his boat and sails into the ocean. The next morning, Moses reaches the spot. He finds her van parked, but does not see her anywhere. When he calls her number, the phone rings inside the van. Tucker has played a trick again. He throws away her surfboard and leaves the van behind so that everyone thinks Zephyr drowned. Meanwhile, Zephyr regains consciousness and finds herself in the boat's lower cabin. Her mouth is taped and her hands are tied to a bed. On the next bed, Heather is also tied up. Confused by the situation, Zephyr screams loudly, but in the middle of the ocean, no one can hear her. Heather explains this reality to her. Zephyr looks around for something sharp, like a hairpin, to open the cuffs, but nothing is available. Then her eyes fall on the wall where a girl's name is scratched. For a moment, she freezes, realizing another girl was once trapped here and gave up hope, writing her name when she accepted she would never escape. Zephyr keeps trying to free herself, but Heather remains still. Heather has already tried everything before and given up. Above deck, Tucker relaxes and fishes calmly. Zephyr asks Heather if anyone might be searching for her. Heather says only one boy was with her, but something terrible happened to him on this boat. Hearing this, Zephyr understands Tucker must have killed him. Then Heather asks if anyone will come for Zephyr. Zephyr replies that someone could have, but now he will not. But in reality, Moses still thinks about her. He visits the beach again and notices her van being moved somewhere. Suspicion grows in his mind. He wonders where Zephyr can live without her van. His worry increases, so he goes straight to the police station and begins searching for her. Meanwhile, Zephyr struggles all night but fails to escape. Exhausted, she sits quietly. Then she notices wires in Heather's clothes. She plans to use them to open her handcuffs. Just then, Tucker arrives with bread and water. Because the room is very hot, Heather quickly drinks the water. The way she hides under the sheet makes Tucker suspicious. Before he checks, Zephyr distracts him by asking for her food. She also drinks the water quickly. Tucker tries to intimidate them, but leaves soon. After he goes, Zephyr again works on the cuffs. But suddenly, her eyes start closing. Tucker had mixed a drug in the water. Before she can escape, she collapses. Both girls fall unconscious. When Zephyr wakes up again, she is tied to a chair on the upper deck. In front of her, Heather is strapped with belts, hanging in position. Tucker sets up a camera, preparing to record everything. Tucker calls the entire act a shoot. He cuts Heather's hair and begins speaking strangely. He says that God is not above but below, in the water. For him, sharks are God. He explains that sharks are not evil, but humans are, the ones who kill them. Then he pours blood into the sea. Sharks gather quickly, and with ropes, he lowers Heather into the water. Because of the blood and her struggles, a shark grows aggressive. It attacks brutally, tearing her body apart and separating her upper half from her lower half. Heather dies in pain, and Tucker records the entire scene on his camera. Seeing this, Zephyr is horrified. In fear, she writes her and Heather's names on the wall. Then she notices not just one or two names, but many names written there. This means Tucker is not only insane, but also a serial killer who has murdered many tourist girls. Evidence lies in the tapes kept above, each one recording a girl's death. On every tape, he attaches strands of their hair. Now a new tape belongs to Heather, and the next in line is Zephyr. In the sea, Heather's remaining body parts float, creating a painful sight. Meanwhile, Moses is still wandering on the beach after surfing. He finds her surfboard, which increases his worry. That night, Tucker again comes down with water and bread for Zephyr. Filled with rage, she kicks the tray away and shouts at him, saying he thinks of himself as a shark, but he is not. He is just an insect, a mad insect. Hearing this, Tucker storms away in anger. Zephyr then breaks a bucket lying nearby and sharpens a piece into a weapon. She knows Tucker will return. Since she has not drunk any water, Tucker tries to inject her with a sedative. But as soon as he comes close, Zephyr stabs his neck with the sharp weapon. He falls back, and she quickly grabs the keys, frees herself, and tries to escape. But before she gets away, Tucker manages to inject her leg. She runs to the deck and calls for help on the radio, but no reply comes. Then she sees another boat nearby and shouts loudly to get their attention. But a party is happening there, and her voice does not reach. Tucker soon comes up again. Seeing him, Zephyr grabs his camera. Tucker becomes frantic about it, so she throws it into the water and then jumps in herself, hoping to reach the other boat. But halfway, she loses consciousness. Tucker captures her again and ties her back inside the boat. Now without the camera, Tucker cannot record her death. For him, if he cannot record it, he will not kill her. Zephyr realizes this and plans accordingly. Tucker sails back to the shore to get a new camera. He ties her in the boat and leaves in his truck. Meanwhile, the police are also searching for Zephyr, but Moses remains restless. He sits in his car and checks the parking lot's CCTV footage. There he spots Tucker's truck near Zephyr's van. The truck carries the logo Tucker Experience. Following this lead, he searches for the address and finally reaches the boat. As he enters, he hears Zephyr's screams from below. He breaks open the door and at last reaches her. Seeing him, Zephyr feels relieved and happy. Zephyr feels shocked and amazed that Moses reaches her without any clue, even though she left him behind and he knew nothing about her whereabouts. This proves what he once said, that they met for a special reason. Zephyr asks him to go upstairs quickly, bring something to free her, and call the police. Moses heads up while calling, but unfortunately, Tucker appears and catches him. The call connects, but before anything is spoken, Tucker breaks the phone and injures him. Somehow, he fights back, beats Tucker, and almost strangles him. At that moment, Tucker's partner attacks from behind. Until then, the partner did not know what kind of monster Tucker truly was. When he sees Zephyr tied and screaming, he realizes the truth, but it is too late. Tucker drives a hook into his partner's head, killing him instantly. Tucker decides not to stay near the shore, so he sails the boat toward a deserted island. Moses is tied next to her on another bed. He tries to confess his feelings, but Tucker arrives and drags them both upstairs. Tucker has decided to kill one of them and record it in daylight. He throws his partner's corpse into the sea, drawing sharks. Then he lowers Moses into the water with ropes. The sharks circle close, but they do not attack because he remains calm and fearless. Since he survives, Tucker pulls him out again and tries another method. This time, Tucker cuts his body with many wounds and lowers him again, making survival almost impossible. Just then, a helicopter appears in the sky, searching for Zephyr. Tucker, alarmed, drags them back down and ties them again. Moses survives the sharks but is badly injured and bleeding heavily. His life is now in danger. Seeing his condition, Zephyr struggles hard to free her hands from the cuffs. She tries everything but fails. At last, she breaks her own thumb, hoping to slip out. Even then, the hand does not come free. In desperation, she bites off the rest of the thumb. The pain is unbearable, but at last, she becomes free. Tucker enters to sedate her, but Zephyr tricks him, escapes the room, and locks him inside. Tucker, however, knows another exit. Above deck, Zephyr starts the boat, but Tucker emerges and shuts the system down. With no other choice, she fights him fiercely and then dives into the water, swimming toward the island where a wedding is taking place. Blood flows from her hand, sharks surround her, and Tucker chases in a small boat. Still, she forces herself onto the island, but Tucker catches her again, knocks her out, and drags her back to the boat. Now Tucker realizes the real danger is not Moses but Zephyr. This time, he ties her friend to a chair and straps Zephyr in the air, ready for another recording. A giant white shark appears, driving away the other sharks. For Tucker, this becomes the biggest show. He is excited and shocked, because as a child he too was attacked by a white shark. Without delay, he lowers Zephyr into the water. She stays calm and survives. Tucker then spears the shark to provoke it, but the spear misses and frees Zephyr instead. Underwater, Zephyr faces the white shark up close. It approaches her, but does no harm. She notices a scar on its body, just like her own. Both are survivors, victims of cruelty, not aggressors. With renewed courage, Zephyr climbs back onto the boat. She strikes Tucker with the spear, knocking him into the sea. The shark seizes him, tearing him apart in a brutal death. Ironically, the best recording is made of Tucker himself, his own perfect tape. But Zephyr also falls into the water. Moses panics, thinking she is gone too, and breaks down in sorrow. Yet Zephyr rises again, proving her strength. She comforts him, showing her courage. Lighting a flare, she signals a passing boat. Luckily, they notice and come to help. Through bravery and determination, Zephyr saves both her and her friends' lives. The film ends with this survival.